What do you feel like was the biggest adjustment for you coming into the NFL?
I mean, you just get a lot of things thrown at you, and just a matter of, timing is huge. Like a lot of everything's different. The game's the same, but everything outside the game is different. So adjusting to that too. But like I said, like I've done it once, I've seen it, gone through it, and the next time around, it'll be better.
What do you think held you back from being the player that you feel like you can be?
I mean, I can't pinpoint exactly one thing. It's not the want to, I'll tell you that. It's not the hard work. I think that's the biggest thing is I put in a lot of hard work, a lot of extra hours, and it didn't pay off right now, but eventually it will. Like I said, it's all about timing.
What do you think you need to work on the most during the offseason to become that player?
I mean, everything. As a player, you can't really focus on just one thing because you focus on one thing and then the other thing starts declining. So obviously, a lot of maintenance work, but also pinpointing, a little bit of the biggest things I feel like to be successful as an NFL receiver, speed, agility, strength, everything, flexibility, but then also having that maintenance part too.
Do you think the adjustment to the NFL was tougher than you thought?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can have everybody tell you about how their experience was, how it is, what to expect. Going through it is different than hearing about it. But I'm glad I went through the things that I went through this year because it's going to make me a better player, a better man going forward. And then we'll see what happens next year.
There were times when it seemed, going back to preseason, you finished strong. There seemed to be corners you turned, and then you kind of like, did you feel like you didn't take the next step at that point? I mean, you made some big catches in games this season when it looked like your playing time was going to start to increase more.
I mean, I know I could play. I know I can be that player. It'd be different standing in front of y'all saying, "No, like I can't do it. I can't be that guy." I know I can be. Like I said, it's going to be about patience and it's going to be about hard work, and when that hard work is going to pay off, obviously, and that's for everybody. We all work hard and we want the results to happen now. Sometimes that don't work out like that. You got to keep going.
Was it hard to shut out what Metcalf was doing yesterday for the Seahawks and thinking about that and comparing?
No, I mean, obviously I didn't want them to win, but I was glad that he had the game that he did. I'm never going to hate on anybody's success because, I know if anybody knows how hard it is to succeed, it's me, So, I'll never hate on that. But at the same time, I wish it wasn't against us.
I assume you're going to take a few weeks off, JJ. What's your off-season training going to be like? Where are you going to do it? Who are you going to be training with?
I'll probably be out in California, getting back to the things that, made me the player I was at Stanford, and really honing in on that. I'll probably be training with some guys here and there. But like I said, focusing on everything that made me the player then, and turning that into here.
Andre had to sit behind JP, Sharif had to sit there, and Miles had to play some opportunities here and there. But do you kind of look at it as being, the situation you were in, as being better than just being thrown in there, having to defend for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, you get thrown in the fire, you're gonna either burn or you're gonna claw your way out and then burn. That's for sure. As a matter of fact, I learned from a lot, and for the rest of my life, I could say that I went through a lot, came out on the other side better, and now it's just like now. I mean, I feel like I can take on any challenge and any adversity because I feel like I've gone through some of the lowest of the lows as a professional athlete, and I've experienced some highs as well. So, and as a rookie, what else could you want?
What was it like going through and watching the ups and downs of the team throughout the course of the season and seeing the team rebound to make the playoffs?
I mean, we've been through a lot. Honestly, even in high school, college, I don't think I've been through what we went through as a team. And then on top of that, to be able to make the playoffs. So, it just goes to show you just keep going. Things are going to happen in your favor. You just can't lay down.
Sounds like Carson went locker to locker after the game, to apologize or deliver a message to each player. What was your experience with him after the game, and what do you think it says about him?
And he came up to me and was just like, dude, we're going to do this next year. We're going to be back and we're going to be better. And in my head, I'm like, dude, are you okay? Like, I'm not even worried about that right now. I'm worried about, how you're doing. And it's like, I'll be fine. We'll be good. Just keep working hard. We're going to get this thing going. What
did that signify to you about, where his head was and who he is,
I mean, he cares, And nothing new. We've known that from the jump. Even after, him taking that hit, the injury, to be in that locker room, tell everybody, make it about everybody else and not him, it's a true testament of who the guy he is, the leader he is.
You mentioned dealing with the lows, JJ. Who helped you with that?
Everybody.
I mean, in this locker room?
Coaches, teammates, everybody. Everybody's been through them. Everybody's experienced them. Everybody knows how to handle them.
After the Miami loss, that seemed to be a rallying point for this team where, there's the players-only meeting, there was multiple guys standing up and delivering messages. I'm wondering what stood out to you, which player, which message in that moment stood out?
Yeah, everybody's message was pretty clear, I think it was just the fact that people had messages made the difference. Like, it's not like we just lost to Miami, like this is over. Like, nah, it's about us pushing forward and, even if it's not even looking good, you're still going and pushing and keep fighting because you never know what could happen. We can still make the playoffs, and we did.
Guys who don't have the kind of season they had hoped as rookies find that they can't. It's like today you can't wait for the next, for April to come so you can start training again. Is that kind of what's going through your mind?
Yeah, I had a couple meetings with a couple coaches, and they're like, make sure you take time off. I'm like, I'm ready to jump back into training right now, but I'll listen to them. They know what they're doing, so probably won't take too much time off, but I definitely have a plan. Know how it's going to work, and I know it's going to work.
You got a lot of praise for your first 3 starts at left tackle, though. I mean, how do you think those 3 games will help you kind of moving forward as you kind of go through the offseason and know what to expect?
I'm really glad that I got those chances because, that's what I was brought in to do for the future, and it helped me get my feet wet a little bit and really helped me kind of gauge, what it's like being out there on the big stage in live situations. So.
Was it tough to get that opportunity and then to not get it the rest of the way?
I mean, tough isn't exactly the way I, describe it. It's just kind of the way it is, and I was just happy to get that chance. It took obviously a little bit of adjustment going back to, doing all the backup scout team stuff, but it wasn't a big deal to me. I stepped in and did what I needed to do, and glad I could do it.
Dealing with the things that you were talking about, sort of the outside noise, at what point did it sort of become more acceptable to you? It sounds like it was something that affected you at first.
Yeah, it was just kind of like something I noticed at first, and I was like, man, it's kind of lame, but it is what it is. It's not something that I typically pay much attention to, but it is something that I notice big time, and people talk about it all the time. So I was like, oh, yeah, I guess that's how it is around here, I guess.
How did the veterans kind of help you kind of get integrated with that kind of?
I mean, it wasn't really a big deal. It was just something that I noticed. It wasn't something big like, oh, I need help. How do you guys deal with it? It wasn't like that. It's just, it's different.
The rookie year can be so long, from the pre-draft process to the combine and the draft and all that stuff. It seems like you never really have time off. What are you going to do now that you are going to have some time off?
Breathe, trying to just take a minute to reflect for a little bit on, everything that's happened and since the end of my senior year, and I haven't really got to do that, so it'll be nice to kind of just sit there and think a little bit about it, and be proud of myself for what I've done and things that I've learned, and what I'm going to work to be.
How much of a better player are you now than when you first got here?
I can't even describe it. I've made my biggest jump by far as a player, from my first year here. It's been an incredible learning experience.
What do you think you stand after they didn't really use you on defense yesterday? Were you disappointed by that, and where do you think you sit going into the spring?
It's out of my control. Honestly, the people upstairs make all the decisions. The way this year's gone, I've kept it simple for myself ever since my role decreased and a new role. So I just kept that same mentality throughout the whole season, even yesterday, knowing possibly I wasn't going to play, but being ready for anything, as I've been doing.
Is the opportunity here for you, do you think? Yeah, I do. Is there an opportunity here for you, do you think?
Definitely.
Yesterday aside, though, you had 2 pretty huge plays in those 4 games. How much did that help your confidence, though, going into kind of the postseason and maybe going into this offseason?
I think it was big. Just making plays out there again, which something I haven't done. Just it feels good just to be able to contribute to this team, and that's the one thing I would say the biggest thing I could take away from this, and what I'm most proud of. I was able to help my team in critical situations to help us get to the postseason. That's a great feeling.
We saw your ball hawking ability in training camp. Didn't really get to see it early on, in the season. But you came away with 2 picks this year. Is working on your hands something that paid off this year?
I think I always take pride in my hands and my ball hawking abilities, as you would say. I used to play receiver, so I really take pride in that, and finding the ball, tracking the ball, and the ball is everything, obviously.
What's the team want you to work on?
I haven't talked to Howie and stuff. I haven't talked to everybody else, so I'll get a better update on that later today.
For you personally, what do you want to work on?
Everything. It's never satisfied. There's a lot of room for improvement for myself. I think next year is going to be great.
I noticed your jersey in a couple guys' lockers. Does it feel like goodbye for you, or is that just the thing you like to do?
We always do that. Everybody, they always say the locker room will change at the end of every year, but at the end of the day, these are guys that I love, and I wanted to get their uniforms and trade jerseys.
How would you put in perspective your 5 years?
Amazing. Growth, definitely growth. Opportunity to go through hard times and to be at the highest point of happiness too. I think I've saw lows and I've saw the ultimate high, and I think that in those opportunities is when you grow the most.
When you saw what Carson Wentz was able to do when all of you guys were out and all the injuries on offense, the young guys coming up, looking up to him, what did you think of the job he did?
Amazing, and that's him. That's his DNA, No matter what anybody else wants to talk about, he's a leader. He's somebody that cares about the guys around him. And you just look at it, man. I see him, take note of Deontay Burnett's game, a guy that's been here for just, 2 weeks. And he talked about how we having a conversation in the cafeteria. I said, I'm talking to him about Tay. He goes, man, Tay's just a smooth route runner, natural hands plucker, sideline, because he made sideline grabs, and Carson took note of that. And that's what a true leader does, and something I really respect about him, because he could articulate that to me about what he saw in a guy's game. And quarterbacks have to do that, They have to know their guys.
How bad did you feel for Carson?
It's terrible, because at the end of the day, it's his health. And for that to be the injury is not something to play with, Those body injuries are bad, but like a head injury is something that is very serious and we take seriously in this league. So, I texted him and he told me he was okay, and I'm happy for that.
What's the answer like going into this offseason, free agency,
It's not something I'm worried about. The most important thing is getting healthy, and that's number one.
From the outside, the fact that they kept you on 53, they didn't IR you, they listed you as probable or questionable each week. They never ruled you out of anything. Kind of gave us the notion it wasn't that serious.
Well, you don't put somebody on IR when they're trying to follow protocol that could bring them back. And that
so
was
you thought you had a chance to play
every day, every week. It's an interesting injury that I can't really describe because I don't have a grip on it. It's a guy down in Pittsburgh that wrote a study on it, and he's going to give me more information about it. And I want to know, because I want to know how quickly you can get yourself going again. And you can go, but there will be discomfort, and sometimes you may do some things that push you back even worse. And that was always the ultimate fear, you know, continuing, like I said earlier in my first interview, about when I made it worse. And that's what put me in this position to try to fix it so I don't continuously make it worse.
Is there a way as a free agent, Nelson, as a free agent, this will be your first chance to make a decision. You can prioritize different things, location, money, winning those. Have you thought about at all what you want in your next team or to stay here?
Not really. Not really. You know, this thing has kind of been the focal point, you know, just making sure that I feel good, feel like myself.